Hi, I'm Bita from Balanced Wellness, and today we're doing a delicious recipe of Indian butter chicken with brown rice. I'm going to start by making the yogurt marinade, which is going to tenderize the chicken, and I'm going to show you what we're going to put inside of it. We're going to use turmeric powder, curry powder, Meyer lemon, or regular lemon, whatever you have. I like Meyer. We're going to add coconut aminos, umeboshi plum vinegar, a little bit of organic sugar, full fat yogurt, plain of course, and chicken. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to put together the marinade for the chicken. So in a bowl, I'm going to take our yogurt, give it a stir to loosen it up, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of lemon juice or so. Okay, get that pit out of here. All right, mix that up. And now we're going to add curry powder. We're going to use 1 tablespoon of curry powder. And about 3/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Going to give it wonderful color, and it's also going to be an anti-inflammatory dish. So this is really good to quell any inflammatory condition that's within the body. And it is also a really good warming dish for winter, or for anyone who kind of has like a colder constitution, kind of someone who in Ayurvedic medicine they would say has a vata constitution, a lean person, doesn't have a lot of body fat on them, gets cold easily, dry skin, etc. This dish has a lot of warming spices, cinnamon, clove, turmeric. This is really going to be beneficial to that type of body type and to everybody else as well. And the final ingredient in the marinade is just a little pinch of sugar, not too much. And let's also just add a little pinch of salt. I'm going to use my Maldon sea salt, my English salt this time. Just a little pinch. And this is our marinade. This is going to help tenderize our chicken. So now what I'm going to do is I have 3 chicken thighs on the bone. I'm going to cut these, not cutting through the bone of course, but I'm going to cut these kind of into little pieces. And it's nice to use meat in the bone because it really gives a real full, wholesome flavor to your finished product, plus you get all the nutrients from the bone, which is wonderful. So buy boned meat. It'll save yourself a couple of bucks as well. Okay. I'm going to peel the skin off too because chicken skin is high in PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are high in omega-6, which cause inflammation in the body. So we don't really want this. But I'm not going to toss it away. What I would do is I would just throw it outside and give it to the animals. It's never a good idea to throw anything in the garbage, especially food. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding these pieces of chicken to my marinade. A little bit of fat on that, it's okay though. Okay, just give that one more hack. That should be fine. And don't worry about the bone. It's all going to cook and get nice and tender, and it's going to fall off the bone. And what I'm going to do with this mixture is I'm going to put this into the refrigerator for up to 24 hours, or if you're short on time, 2 hours is sufficient. So here we are mixing everything up, beautiful golden color, going to be super tender. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in the fridge for a couple hours. So now we are going to go through the rest of the recipe for the butter chicken. This is everything that's going to go into the pot, get sauteed with the butter, and then we're going to put the chicken back in. So to start, we have some tomatoes. This is organic tomatoes in a BPA-free jar. Well, jars don't have BPA anyway, but some cans do. But this is the safest, best way to buy tomatoes. In here we have some coconut milk, full fat, a little bit of chicken stock, some Mongolian sea salt, red onion, garlic, ginger, cilantro, jalapeno pepper, and our star ingredient, which is butter. You can notice this beautiful golden shade because the butter is grass-fed. So now I'm going to chop the rest of this onion and just talk a little bit about onions in general. This is a red or purple vegetable. It's got a lot of benefits to eating eating the rainbow, as people say. This onion actually is lower in sulfur than its other counterparts. That's why I'm not crying right now while I'm cutting it. But if I was, I'd stick my head in the freezer. That's my little onion cutting tip, is to just stick my head in the freezer. I'm just cutting this into a small dice. Purple onions also have less sulfur, so you won't smell when you use these, because oftentimes when people stink, it's because of the sulfur in their onions. So if you want to not have BO, I suggest not eating anything but red onions. So there we go. Everything's chopped up. And now I'm going to show you a little tip for this jalapeno. As you can see, it's got all the seeds in it so far and the pith. I want to get rid of that. I don't want it. So I'm going to use my trusty grapefruit spoon. I'm going to stick it right in there like that, and I'm going to, done. Just scoop it out like that. You get rid of all the bitterness and also most of the heat. Contrary to popular belief, most of the heat in a pepper is not in the flesh or the seeds, it's the pith. It's that little white thing inside the pepper. So I'm just cutting this pepper up. And that little grapefruit spoon that I just used before, easily accessible. You can buy that for about $2 or $3, and it does a multitude of things. You could also use it to get that fuzz out of an artichoke when you're cooking, taking the skin off of something that's already cooked, and of course segmenting grapefruit. So it's got a lot of use. There's really nothing else that I think would really be a substitute for it. So if you want to make your kitchen steps a breeze, I suggest picking up one of these little guys. Now come over to the stove with me, and I'm going to show you how to create the rest of this recipe. Here I am over at the stove, and I'm going to show you how to make the rest of the recipe. So in this pot right here, I have 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to turn the pot on. A medium flame, and I'm going to let the butter melt. And then I'm going to start adding the aromatics. Onion first. Kind of looks like a lot of onion, but we're going to really saute this down, get it nice and sweet. So I'm just warming up the butter in here, being careful not to do it over too high of a heat, otherwise the butter is going to burn on me, and I don't want burnt butter and I don't want brown butter right now. Okay, so the butter's almost melted. I'm going to add in 1 red onion that we chopped before. And I'm also going to add my salt at this point. This is a Mongolian salt. It's got a nice coarse nature to it. Beautiful flavor. And the reason I'm adding salt right now, if I was making caramelized onions, I would not be doing this. But the reason I'm adding salt right now is because I want the salt to penetrate the cell wall, break the onion down, release the moisture, and get it nice and soft. So that's what I'm doing. At this point, I'm going to add in our jalapeno pepper. This is 1 jalapeno pepper. If you are adverse to the spiciness of this, you could just omit it or add half. Be totally acceptable. And this is a really good beginner dish for someone who's perhaps not too familiar with Indian food and wants to acquaint themselves with it. Okay, and now I'm going to add in our diced garlic. I have 2 cloves and about 2 teaspoons of fresh grated ginger. When I grate it, I don't peel it. I just grate it as is, give it a good scrub. Perfectly fine. Okay. Just going to crank the heat up on this a little bit. Starting to smell really good too, and it looks beautiful also. Okay, at this point, I am going to add in our chicken. This is our marinated chicken and our curry yogurt mixture, bone in. You could also do drumsticks too if you were inclined, or if you couldn't find thighs. Thighs are my favorite though. So here I am, taking the chicken, not really draining it, but not putting excessive yogurt in there either, just kind of pulling it out of the mixture and popping it in the pan like that. And the yogurt helps tenderize the chicken. And we're using dark meat, so we don't have to worry about it getting super dry the way a chicken breast would do. Okay, gonna give that a bit of a stir. And then now at this point, we're gonna wanna add our liquids. So I'm going to take our chicken stock. I have 1/3 cup of chicken stock right here. If you had homemade chicken stock, that would be fabulous as well. Okay, so now it's starting to look like something. It's starting to look like a recipe. And now we're going to add 1/2 jar of organic diced tomato. You can use crushed tomato as well, your choice. Okay, that's about half a jar. Okay, so this is everything, well, almost everything for the butter chicken. Now I'm going to let this come to a boil, and once it does, I'm going to put it down to simmer and let it cook for about 30 minutes or until the chicken is tender. So this is our butter chicken. It's simmered for about 25-30 minutes. This is what it should look like. And now I'm going to add the last two ingredients, a little bit of coconut milk. It's going to make it really creamy and kind of lighten it a little bit. And about 2 tablespoons of chopped cilantro or Chinese parsley. So this is our finished butter chicken. Beautiful color. And now I'm going to show you how to plate the dish. So right next to me I have some organic short grain rice, which I cooked in a rice cooker. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to a bowl. And then we're going to pour our butter chicken over it. This is a rustic dish. I still have the chicken on the bone, so just keep that in mind when you're eating and when you're serving it to guests. So I'm going to take a nice big piece and just pop it right on top like that. And then I'm going to pour some of the curry on top. And there you have it, butter chicken with brown rice.